Hi everybody, welcome back to the Attract Capital webinar series. Janine and Dave Barnett here, CEO of the company.
Hello everybody.
Today we're going to be talking about how to improve your deal selecting skills. So, what is the reality of deal selecting and that process, Dave?
So it's a very important question, Janine. Deal selection is pretty much everything in the deal business. It's the most important thing. Deal flow, deal flow, deal flow. That's what the business is about. And I think what happens is that a lot of times people go into the deal selection without being fully grounded in what it is they're looking for. And they're also susceptible to being dazzled by slick presentations that investment bankers put together. Oftentimes, acquirers can feel the need to just do a deal. My job is to do a deal, ergo, if this looks like it's a pretty good deal, I'm going to try to do it, and they may relax standards. So I think the reality is that people have this view to give a deal more credit than it really deserves. And I, for one, think that you want to like your deals, you want to think that they're all good deals, but you don't want to get carried away and go native with that feeling too early in the deal selection process. You want to have this slight skepticism. On the one hand, you want to say, oh, it's a great deal, so everybody thinks you're excited about it. But on the other hand, you want to kind of hold back a little bit and be a little guarded about your enthusiasm until you get further into the due diligence process.
So you don't want to be distracted by the dazzle.
Right. You don't want to think this is the greatest deal in the world and get too enthusiastic too early.
So then what would you say is the downside then of selecting a subpar deal?
Well, there's huge downside, Janine, and the obvious one is that you could buy a pig in a poke. If you're acquiring businesses and you get a bad deal, you're stuck with it and you've got to work it out, and it may need more money and you'll never get your money out of it, and it's just a huge time suck. And the thing about doing it, you just don't want to do, the downside to do bad deal selection is you do bad deals.
Don't do it.
And if you do bad deals, then you're sunk because all you're doing is focused on it. You not only are going to lose the money you put into the deal, but you're probably spending the majority of your time working through the issues that the company has, and it just takes you out of the market. So the downside is really a huge opportunity cost that you never really want to go through. That being said, you don't want to be overly negative and overly cynical when you're selecting deals, but you want to make sure that it's something that you have a balanced, healthy perspective on as to what the risks are and what the weaknesses of the company are.
That makes sense, finding the balance of it. So then what do you think is needed for people to find more balance or to have a better, process of selecting deals?
I think it all comes back to people having standardization with respect to what they're looking for. Rather than just being ad hoc and spontaneous about reviewing a deal, you want to pick an industry, you want to pick a size, you want to pick there's a certain deal type, like if somebody's a certain age and they're looking to exit and they're looking for somebody who might be younger to take in the business, that's a very sound transaction dynamic to get behind. You want to have a more rigorous review process. You want it to be more than just yourself. You want to have operational people and other financial people within your organization take a look at it. You also want to have a clearer understanding, not just of the financials and have transparency in the financials, but you want to have a very, very granular command of the product, of the sales, of the delivery model that the company has, because those are the value drivers of the business. Those are the things that are going to enable you to scale the business over the long term. You really want to make sure you get your arms around that. And you also want to commit to the fact that selecting deals, being better at selecting deals, is an ongoing process and involves you learning from each and every encounter you have. And if you adopt kind of a learning mindset, you'll grow and you'll expand your wisdom with respect to deal selection.
I always want to be learning.
Absolutely.
So then how would you do this? Like, what are the main steps into having that sort of process?
Right. So to have great deal selection, you want to have a team of people behind you with different perspective. You want to game plan before your calls with the company and map out a strategy, a questioning strategy. You also want to develop a first call review checklist where you're going to get your most important questions out of the way and be very organized about it in an outline. As in everything you do in the deal world, you want to actively listen and you want to assess the quality of the answers to make sure that you think you're getting honest, sensible information from the other side. And then you really want to evaluate the credibility of the people that are telling you the information, because information could be presented in a number of ways, and if you can trust in the person that's delivering it to you, then you should place greater reliance and put this deal further up the selection spectrum. And then I also think you want to, back to this learning process, you want to log every deal and have an objective way of measuring the attractiveness of the deal. So I think if you adopt more of a philosophical approach to better deal selection, you implement these practical steps, I think over time you'll find that you'll be able to have a phone call and say, there's no deal here. Or you'll have a phone call and you'll say, this could be a deal.
Yeah.
And then you have another phone call and you say, this is absolutely a deal.
You know exactly what you want and how you're going to get it. So.
Exactly.
And I think something that stuck with me is you said trust who's giving you the information and rely on them. And I think you all should trust Dave and the information that he continuously gives you through these webinars. So we have it again.
Thank you, Janine.
Some more information, and we will catch you guys with our next webinar. Have a good day.
Thanks, everybody.